live right now. Looking forward to doing. Stream will start shortly. So I'm waiting for broadcast. In case you can hear me, I'm waiting for the broadcast to be published. So apparently not published yet. Now I'm live. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Todd Standing. I'm the man who takes people out into the field and has them either live interact with or eyewitness a Sasquatch. It's 2020. I'm looking forward to a whole new year of craziness. So goodbye 2019. Hello SoCal Forest Ninjas. I guess I'm a little early today. I'm always looking forward to hello Amanda. I'm looking forward to amazing questions from you guys. What's going on right now is there's snow like crazy, and I'm getting people sending me really cool pictures of Sasquatch tracks. And I've been very fortunate talking to lots of people about really cool stuff to do with some amazing encounters. I can't believe, I got to tell you guys, being that I have a documentary and the following that I have on Facebook and YouTube, I get so many people that contact me that have such amazing Sasquatch stuff going on. It's mind-blowing. And what I'm excited about, the most exciting thing, is when these people, sorry, hair in my mouth, people like that are living in towns or on the outside of towns, they have a house and they live in a certain spot, and they're getting consistent Sasquatch stuff happening. It's kind of the opposite of what I do. Obviously, eventually, people are encroaching on the wilderness like crazy, and the Sasquatch have got to kind of, I don't know if you want to call it push back, but there's got to be a point where there's some young new Sasquatch that's been raised around human beings, sees them all the time, and is going to finally break down and cross that barrier. Oh my God, I wish that would happen. In case you don't know, I'm just so not about any kind of competition. I just want this discovery done. Hello, Eric from Colorado. And I want it done ethically, but that's what's so exciting about these people that are getting all this really interesting stuff going on. And I'm really excited about expanding and cooperating with these people. So, and I'm seeing so much stuff. It's really, once you're into it the way I'm into it, it's crazy the amount of Sasquatch stuff that's going on out there. Like, it's way more than you thought. And talking to people like I do all the time. Sorry, just reading the national parks stuff from Parkway SRG. So vote Sasquatch 2020. New Mexico. Yeah, isn't that New Mexico? Isn't that where there's a Kreider, Robert Kreider is down in New Mexico, I think. Crazy, blows my mind to think that there could be Sasquatch down there. So, but let's get some. You guys always have. I don't care how many shows I do. You guys always have incredible, amazing questions. Someone, Mike H is on from Newfoundland. My goodness, are there Sasquatch in Newfoundland? Newfoundland is wow. Newfoundland is crazy place. Tons of moose. They apparently don't have elk there or deer, so they don't have an appropriate ungulate population, and they apparently have black bears but not brown bears. I'd be very interested to see if there were Sasquatch in Newfoundland. Amanda's telling me to ask somebody, Clay. Where are we here? I'm getting messed up here. So Clay has a question, I think. Todd, have you seen the new show Expedition Bigfoot on Travel Channel? No, I haven't watched that new show. A little bitter about that because Travel Channel was working with a production company that was going to do a show with me. Obviously, I'm Expedition Bigfoot, and so there might be some legal issues with that because they literally took my idea and ran with it. I'm not when shows come and they want to. These shows, man, they want Bear Grylls is a fake show. It's fake. It's scripted. It's fake. The stuff they do is fraudulent. It's bad. Like Bear Grylls was squeezing water out of elephant dung and telling people to drink it, and then went in the hospital. You don't drink water out of poop. It's disgusting. It's nasty, especially in Africa where there are elephants and it's warm. And he's teaching stuff and doing things that are deceitful and lies, and it won't do a show like that. There was a show called, there is a show called Man Tracker. They called me and asked me to do the show. I'm a real legit, boots on the ground, real tracker. That show is fake. Man Tracker is fake. A camera crew follows around, so it's simple. There's a people being tracked, and the Man Tracker is trying to track them. There's a camera crew following around both groups. How does a camera crew, a sound guy and two cameras, follow around people that are being tracked? The tracker could just follow the cameras. You know what I mean? So it's really a fake contrived show. I won't do a fake show like that. And and so I get in a lot of trouble because I'm a student of Survivor Man, and Survivor Man is a 100% real TV show. He really did that stuff. He really was alone, and they don't. TV shows don't like that stuff. They like everything to be scripted. I will literally. I've had many offers for TV shows, and I'll write scripts for plans that I have, but and Survivor Man told me how to do this because he does that. He writes a script and then he has a plan, and then of course everything happens totally different in real life, and they just suck it up. I was hoping they would do that with me, but they don't do that. They don't like that. They like to have a plan. They like to know what's going to happen, and so dealing with TV executives is holy shit. I mean, talk about people who throw rocks in glass houses. They're just it's very scary. It's very difficult, and I don't know. Eventually, maybe somebody will do a show with me, but for now, I just have my little documentaries. I have total control over my own productions, which is a big reason why I do them. So my documentary is exactly 100% honest, 100% true, 100% as it happened. So don't take my word for it. John Bitternagel was there. Jeff Meldrum was there. Les Stroud was out there. Watch the Survivor Man Bigfoots. Everything I do is absolutely real. And what's crazy is, as amazing as my documentary was, off camera, it was much better. What happened when the cameras weren't rolling? I mean, we have some I'm very impressed with the footage that I have, but I mean, what we've seen in real life blows that away. I've seen way better than that multiple times, and cameras are a pain in the ass. They're always breaking down. They're always overheating or getting wet, or the lens is all screwed up, or oh my god, like cameras are such a god darn pain in the ass. People have no idea. But ask Survivor Man. Survivor Man does this, and he was around Sasquatch, and it didn't work out for him. So thanks so much for the donation, Parkway SG. Did you have a question? I should go through this. So, Mike H. Mike came off. People do talk about Bigfoot here in Newfoundland, but I've seen X's anyways taking pictures. Maybe one day I'll have some evidence. Yeah, and I'll lean towards not on Newfoundland until I see some really good. I'd need to, right? I should lean towards. I don't know. That's what I should lean towards. I don't know. Nova Scotia, I've heard some pretty impressive stuff, but I don't know. So I shouldn't be falling on one side of the fence or the other. But what concerns me about places like Newfoundland is if there's no elk there. If I've been told correctly, I haven't been there. Well, I was there when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I lived there for a little while. But if there's no elk populations there, the Sasquatch heavily rely upon that. But then again, they're in California. Where I was in California, and there's going to be a documentary, California Bigfoot. That's the one I'm working on right now. So there was no elk herds in California where I found the Sasquatch, but there was a tremendous abundance of deer, white-tailed deers. Tremendous abundance. So obviously the Sasquatch can just eat that. And then when you're in California, you have a much better abundance of berries and just survival plants. I'm assuming, because I haven't spent a lot of time doing survival and whatnot when I was out in California, it's about the Sasquatch. So I don't go out there to survive in the wilderness. I have my survival skills. I have my tracking skills that really, really I don't know, carried over so well. I'm sure that if I went to Rwanda, where I'd like to go, and worked with some guerrilla trackers, I'm sure we would just get along like peas and carrots, because there's immense amounts of similarity in tracking skills. And I just pick things up so fast because I am a real tracker. I would have a kindred relationship immediately with any tracker, like I do in real life. I've met with 3 amazing trackers that I met with, as in we just sort of hook up, we go out and we meet, and all the bullshit goes away so fast. You say something silly like, oh, look at the elk track and it's a moose track, and you go, no. So there's no bullshitting when it comes to tracking. People that come out on expeditions with me, they get it in a big freaking hurry. Like there's really, we'll see tracks and watch movement, and then boom, there's the bear that I said. There's a black bear. It's about this big. It looked like that, and boom, there's the black bear. Or there's the elk, or there's the deer, or there's the moose. So we really, everything comes to play, and studying these different species is, and it's keystone species I'm really good with. So like obviously there's deer all the way down into Texas. So, and deer behavior has a lot of similarities to do with elk behavior, and it's quite a bit. There's, I would say they're as similar to elk and deer are similar like gorillas and chimpanzees. So, like primates, right? So there's a tremendous amount of similarities, and then moose would kind of be in a different category, and then bison in another category. But elk and deer, anyways, I study the elk and deer a lot, and there's deer all over North America. They're a very prolific species, and the Sasquatch would have to consume deer and elk to survive. They have to. I I've seen evidence of that, but it's absolutely part of the scientific truth that they exist. They're gonna require protein. They're a big giant predator. They're hunters. They're trackers, and I've seen so much what's just so much evidence just absolutely pointing to that fact. So it's very clear to me. So yeah, and Survivor Man is I don't know. No, I wouldn't say. C. McCall says Survivor Man is the only real survivor besides you. I would definitely not say that. There's lots of other people I've seen out there that looked really cool and really legit. There's a kid named Cody who walks around barefoot from the northern United States. So yeah, there are other people. There's lots of. I don't know about on TV and stuff. I don't watch much television, so. But yeah, so anyways, Autumn Glow says, your clip of Sasquatch running up the hill made me believe in your claims. I've done trail running a lot, 69 miles in the north of Sweden. Wow. No human being could run like that creature. Autumn, you're so freaking right. Like, damn. Especially, I wish I could take people there. Because in my mini doc, and if you go and if you become a monthly donator, I'm giving my mini doc away. In my mini doc, I show, like, I'm actually there. I went back to the spot where I filmed that Sasquatch run, and it was like, I was gonna try to run it. You're never gonna, you, oh my God, like it's the speed, and when you get into bush where there's trees and stumps and rocks that come out of the ground, and you have to maneuver through trees and over trees and roots and up steep points and the terrain, to think it did it faster than the fastest man in the world could run. I mean, you'd blow a knee, you'd throw your hip, you'd turn an ankle if some human being tried to do that. Like it's, honestly, when I had that footage and a kineticist analyzed it, and when the results of the analysis started coming back for how fast that Sasquatch was moving, I thought it was going to shake things up so much. I thought, damn, because even if I get a great piece of footage, and I have great pieces of footage, even if I get amazing, better pieces of footage, people are always going to, there may often, for a long time, still be doubt. I don't know why or how. It blows my mind because it's real legit footage. But when you have no special effects and you're watching a raw piece of footage of a being run like so fast through crazy terrain and moving bipedally, it's moving bipedal, so it's no bear, it's no deer, it's always the bear question comes up, right? Even gorillas and chimpanzees, if they're at full speed, man, they're on all fours. It's clearly in North America, the terrain matches that. So I'm trying to be skeptical as possible. It's clearly running on 2 feet bipedally. It's clearly over 7 feet tall. This was a young Sasquatch. I believe he was about a 14 and a half inch track. So it's a good sized footprint. And but that Sasquatch was a day watcher, right? So he was a young guy. He was doing his job. And I think he was probably, I mean, this is crazy, but I think he was about, 13 and 15 years old, Probably even, I would say 13 is what I would guess him at, 13, 14. And he's like 400 plus pounds. I'd have him clocked just in my tracking skills and my knowledge. I'd say he's about, I'd say he's 450 plus or minus 50 pounds. And he's, 7 foot, I think we had him at about 7'4". That is crazy awesome. Just when I think about it, I smile because I know how hard it is to get footage. I know how hard it is to have success. People like SoCal Forest Ninjas and Rob Kreider, and there's a dude in Colorado, Mark Para, all these guys, and way beyond that, so many people. I apologize. There's so many names I could give credit for. If you ask these guys who are really out there, boots on the ground, how exciting it would be to have footage like that. And it is. It's a freaking thrill. It's an absolute joy. It's a pleasure. I'm so honored to have been able to capture that real, legitimate footage, and it's tremendous evidence. I mean, I know it's old. I filmed that way back in 2004, I think. So old, that footage. And even the Sasquatch, the video 2 I have standing up, my God, that Sasquatch was enormous. And again, if I could take people there and show them where it was and how it happened and what entirely happened, because after that Sasquatch stood up and sat down, he had to go right, and you can't go anywhere. It's like a cliff, and you'd have to jump, I don't know, 7 meters or something. And it was like, holy crap, how the hell, it's one thing to have the footage, it's another thing to be there and experience the incredible things that transpired in that incident that makes you think, man, like the Sasquatch owned me the whole time. They were in total control, totally dominating. They're powerful, amazing, athletic, the things they can do. No wonder people think they're fourth dimensional transporters, because they're so incredibly athletically gifted. It's unreal, amazing. So that's what happens when you get out there, and that's why the expeditioners that come out with me, and like Survivor Man and Meldrum and Bitternoggle, they know, they were there. They know what happened. Come on. It's way more than that in real life. There's no way this is anything but a giant primate running around. Survivor Man says there's something out there. What is it? It's Sasquatch. They're there, people. So Clay asks, hey Todd, what would you recommend on having a Sasquatch near your brush in daylight on trying to get him dangerously, seriously? I don't understand. Hey Todd, what would you recommend on having a Sasquatch near you in the brush in a daylight trying to get him? Is it dangerous? Maybe. Okay, let's break it down. So I'm a little confused, but you're saying the Sasquatch is around you in the brush in daylight. You're trying to get up on him. Don't get up. He's going to own you. That's what's confusing me. You don't get up on a Sasquatch. If you're around in the daytime, he knows where you are. It's extremely unlikely he'll be alone. He'll be with others. So they're going to own you. Is it dangerous? Yeah, if you go mess with them, you're going to die. If you pulled a gun and pointed a gun at one, you would probably, before you even, don't pull your gun. They know what guns are, right? These guys know guns. They've seen the number one people that Sasquatch are going to deal with the majority of the time out in the bush are probably hunters. They're going to be out there. They're going to see hunters. They know what a gun is. They know what a gun can do. You don't point a gun at a Sasquatch, he'll kill you. So, be peaceful. And I am, seriously, I mean, if you're getting that kind of success, if you're getting some good success, they're coming around you. I mean, they're doing that on purpose. They're extending the olive branch to you. So if the Sasquatch choose to come around you, it's not because they think you're a douche. It's not because they dislike you. There's something they like about you. Otherwise, they would be throwing rocks at you and smashing you. When any being is intimidated or thinks of you in a negative way, you're gonna know it. When a Sasquatch is upset with you, you are going to know it. If you're confused and you're not sure they're angry with you, that means they're not. And I'll tell you, because they're big, giant, scary primates that bash each other around, and they live in so much more violence than we could ever. I mean, they're hunters. They love the deer and the elk, and they kill them and eat them. You must understand that sort of mentality they're killers. They kill. They will take a beautiful little rabbit, they will break its neck and eat it. They're killers. And they love rabbits, and they love the deer, and they love the animals. So you're dealing with creatures that are literally, they live in violence. I don't know how else to explain it. They're violent for a living. I spend my whole life, I've never killed a chicken, you know what I mean? So, and most people are like that now. You're not dealing with that with the Sasquatch. My point with that is, believe me, if the many times that a Sasquatch have expressed to me that they don't want me to come around, I know it. It's not, oh, I wonder. No, they'll be violent. They'll rip trees out of the ground. They will scare you to the point where when you're terrified, and it's obviously a horrible experience. I mean horror. That's bad. When they're even a gorilla will thump you, a gorilla will bite you, but they'll still eventually, like Ian Redmond did this. I'm talking from real hands-on primatologists. breaking the gorilla down where he was habituating the gorilla to have him in its presence, right? So uh, little minor stuff like that. Like I had Sasquatch throw me around, bash me, but it was clear to me that they were not trying to purposely harm me. They were trying to maybe put me in my place, maybe do a little allow me into their group by showing me I'm at the bottom. So, but I'll tell you, man, when they don't want you around, they'll let you know it, and they're just obvious things. Like I had a couple from Wyoming call me. They got this place for super cheap, and they got it for cheap because the Sasquatch were violent there. And they were calling me and saying, we had this, like this, the Sasquatch would come around and they'd have like logs, and they would smash the logs against trees, and they'd throw things at the house. They would scream at them violently. They're bashing holes in the house like that. I told them, you don't want to be there. And they asked, well, we just bought this property and the house is getting wrecked by Sasquatch. I go, well, I don't want to tell you. Sell it. That's probably why you got it for a deal, right? And then they were asking me, what can we do to be? There's nothing. What can you do to fix it? You're on your own. If you're trying to fix a relationship with some Sasquatch that hate people, and for whatever reason, maybe they're just angry Sasquatch, maybe they got shot at, maybe one of their children were killed by people. There's a million reasons, right? That I'm never going to know. But they just stopped talking to me eventually, and I think they gave up on the property because when they want you to know, it's not rocket science. So I would tell that to you, Clay. If you're having that kind of success, congratulations. There's probably something very special about you, and it's really, I call it discovering Bigfoot. It's a discovery process, and each Sasquatch is going to be its own individual. If you would like me to help you and mentor you, I would love to do that. Send us an email at bigfootencounter@gmail.com. I'm sure Amanda will put that up. I'd love to help and mentor you in the discovery process, but if it's and when you're dealing with Sasquatch, like dogs are different personalities, horses are different personalities. You're dealing with a highly intelligent being, a highly, highly intelligent being, and their personalities are going to be even more complicated, more difficult to figure out. There it is, Amanda put bigfootencounter@gmail.com. We'd love to hear about your stuff, guys. It's never too much. I'm making my Saturday videos about you people a lot, so because I'm getting really good stuff, really good information, and I want to keep doing that. So Lance Brown says, hey brother, well, the red-haired Bigfoot I've seen one on the edge of a big thicket in Texas talking aloud of lumber into Houston one night around 3 a.m. It had I'd say 5-foot span in his, maybe you mean, and it ends there, maybe you mean in your shoulders. So you saw one around 3 a.m. at night taking a load of lumber into Houston. So in Texas, and Lance, I'll tell you, there were Sasquatch in Texas. I can tell you that much. I've seen an old Texas Rangers book. I've been to spots in Texas. It's just they're definitely there. So are they still there? I don't know. But and logic would dictate most likely yes. But Leo asks, have I investigated Vancouver Island? I'm all over that. That's where John Bitternagel, my friend and mentor, passed away recently. And that's where John Bitternagel worked. I'd really like to go there and do some stuff. I have lots of plans for that stuff. I just got to prioritize. So what else have we got here? You guys have such awesome questions. I believe Sasquatch to see your aura. I believe Sasquatch to see your aura. Maybe you're saying I believe Sasquatch can see your aura. Okay, so lots of stuff going on here. Whoa, questions going like crazy. You guys have such awesome... Remember, this show's about questions, guys. And if I miss your question, you could always send it to us, right? So, anyways, Don Johnson, I've had a few incidents as a young child with my mom and siblings going on hikes in the woods in deep isolated forests, no neighborhoods in Louisiana. Wow, and that's, and I had some pictures sent to me from a guy who won't let me share them publicly, but they were pretty interesting. It was, I believe it was the swamps, a swampy area of Louisiana. I took this crappy cell phone picture, and I liked it. I liked what he had to say. I talked to the guy. Everything rang true to me. And I thought, wow, there's like a swamp Sasquatch in Louisiana. How awesome is that? And it just rang really true to me. So one goal, guys, is I start traveling around meeting people that do this stuff, right? And maybe doing a YouTube, if I can get my YouTube channel making money like some of these YouTubers do. That'd be wonderful, right? And I could travel around and do this stuff a little more. I'm immensely attracted to go to Alaska. Oh my God, there's a woman that's got some stuff going on in Alaska, just blowing my mind. And yeah, Eastern United States, I'd like to have a look over there. Northeastern United States, I'm very interested in. There's quite a few people up in that region that I'm very attracted to go to. Southern U.S., wow, there's Southern U.S. concerns me because I'm a real Northman, and you get all these weird creatures like possums and all these little strange animals that make weird sounds. So I'm not terribly attracted to go to those places, and swamps and snakes and uh, I'm a wilderness expert, but in my area, I would need to really get in there. It would take me a good year just to get my ducks in a row where I'm like, oh, that's a possum. But then there are things in the wilderness like birds. There's 5 different kinds of sounds that birds do that are real. They're fundamentals, and once you have a lot of fundamentals down, it's I don't know, tracking isn't just following tracks. Tracking is listening and track. For God's sake, those bird guys, those bird experts, they hear a bird and that's a sighting and they're done. I heard a bighorned owl and they know the sound and that's it. That's a sighting. I love that. That is the way it should be. When you see a freaking Sasquatch track, that should be it. It should be done. When you hear a Sasquatch call, if it's too loud, like if a human being can't make that sort of auditory sound and it's nothing else, it's a Sasquatch sound. And it sucks that these things happen all the bloody time, and nobody there's a tree break. The freaking tree breaks are everywhere, and it's Sasquatch. you know, it's definitely a big universal thing, at least in the northern Bigfoot regions like Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington, all the way up British Columbia, Alberta, into Canada. Like all this Pacific Northwest, they do tree breaks. And people should be, if this was a known thing, like even they talked about that atlas the U.S. Military did for the Corps of Engineers where it talks about Sasquatch. They should be throwing stuff in there like I think tree breaks should be number one. That's real. That is number one. Pacific Northwest, all through these states in the north. All the Sasquatch make those tree breaks, and I know that in California I didn't see any tree breaks. I didn't think I saw even one. And then I tried to make a small one, and I realized the trees there are so rubbery. You could bend them and make S's out of them, and they just kind of pop back up. Here we have our trees are they're less rubbery and more dry because it's so cold, so they snap. And that's the Rocky Mountain Douglas fir and the spruce trees. They just make beautiful tree breaks. So but there's other signs that we're gonna see. There's other things, and there are other things even that I know of, and man, that information, guys, it drives me nuts to all the stuff going on, all the people and all the Sasquatch activity. And SoCal Forest Ninja says you mentor me every Wednesday. Yeah, and the stuff that you guys have to say. I love the way these questions push me into things that I'm uncomfortable with, and we have good discussions, right? I love this stuff. So let's see what else we got here for questions. I had a super chat question. Cynthia had a super chat question. What does that mean, super chat? Maybe I'm sorry, I'm a little. There's a lot of these weird technical terms. Oh, Cynthia, Todd, had you seen them more in the day or night? Oh, now Cynthia, that's such a good question. It was in the beginning. It was more at night, and yeah, I think it isn't more at night. I think it's a good 50-50 now, because as I become more in tune with the wilderness, with the bird sounds, with Sasquatch, and particular groups of Sasquatch. There was the Nordegg Sasquatch I was very familiar with, and I spent over 100 days out there with them. And now the Radium Sasquatch. Once you get to know your troop, Cynthia, you're able to pick up the little subtle things they do, and I'm seeing them around, gosh, as much in the daytime as at night. But at night, when you have a fire lit and you're lit up, like when you're in the wilderness out in the middle of nowhere and you lit up a fire, everything can see you forever. Like, 20 miles all around. That little fire just shows everywhere. And as anything like a Sasquatch would get miles close to you, they can see you vividly and you can't see them. So they're better hidden and you're better exposed. And I think that creates a formula for them to come around and get a little closer. And plus the fire's loud and the fire does something. So I've never talked about this, Cynthia. It's such a good question. The fire goes pop, snap, pop. It makes those sounds, right? And so Sasquatch don't really know about fire. And I don't know if they really calculate that it's the fire making those sounds. But to a primate, who's a big dominant primate species, when they hear snap, pop, snap, and that's just the fire popping and crackling. Once in a while, the fire, there'll be some moisture in the wood. It'll pop really loud. The Sasquatch are responding to that sometimes. They think, oh, you're making a big snap sound. Well, I'm the big boss around here. And they make a big snap sound back. It took me years to pick up on that. The first time that ever happened to me, I was in Nordegg with an expeditioner a long, long time ago. This was before I was doing expeditions. This was a guy I'd been taken out. And we were sitting by the fire, and it was after there'd been some rain. The wood was particularly poppy. And a Sasquatch snapped a tree so loud it sounded like a gunshot. Snap! And the next day we found the tree. The tree was it was a dry tree that had fallen over. And I would say it's about 4 inches thick. The reason I know it wasn't a gunshot is because at the end you hear, you know what I mean? So it's snap, kick. You could hear that crunch of the wood at the very end. And I realized that the fire was particularly popping. Pop, snap. So he wanted to make a louder pop, snap. Just like, hey, I'm the big primate around here, right? And primates are very much like that, and so are Sasquatch. You're dealing with the Sasquatch are a male-dominated society, and they fight for the rights of breeding, right? And, there's enormous sexual dimorphism, size separation between males and females, like with gorillas, like with lions. And when you get gorillas and lions in these herds, it's a male-dominated society with big males who are they like butting heads, they like fighting amongst themselves. And, there's stuff that are going to offend the Sasquatch that we don't even know about. Even, let's talk about this. Do you know what? You don't ever have your pants off around a gorilla, because if your appendage is bigger than his, he'll beat the crap out of you. And human beings have bigger appendages than gorillas do. So when you're out hiking around in Rwanda, and this is Ian Redmond told me this, a primatologist. He's like, that's how deep and how cool their societies are built on. He sees that you have a bigger penis than he does, and he wants to beat the crap out of you because he's jealous. And the girls might like that bigger penis, right? So my point with that is, what are we doing that's offending the Sasquatch? I'm certainly not walking around without my pants on. And I have seen a Sasquatch's appendage very vividly and clearly. And it's not huge. I don't know what to tell you. So, is that going to... Anyways, you see the richness that we're going to learn when we make this discovery, when someone actually starts studying the species in an appropriate scientific, ethical way. There's going to be so much. It's going to be such a Pandora's box. It's going to be so amazing, because there's never been, like, when we make a discovery of new human beings, for example, in the Amazon or in Africa or something, and there's all these cool things we find out about them that are amazing. It really is. It's an amazing discovery. But this is another level, guys. Like, this is just holy, mind-blowing. We've never known a bipedal winterized primate that can track, a real, legit thinker, tracker, but they can smell really well, they can see really well, they can see at night really well. They're super powerful, super strong, they have technique that they use. I mean, they are such... Why are we making movies about X-Men? And I love X-Men movies, and I love the Justice Leagues, and I'm a Batman, Superman, Aquaman. I love all this stuff. Why are we making movies about this when we have real superheroes out in the wilderness, and they're the most man-like primate on the planet? It blows my mind. It totally blows my mind. I'm telling the truth. Sasquatch are real. Hello. Is this on? Hello. You know, and I'm sitting here. I don't know what I don't know what else I can do, but anyway, it's crazy, right? This world is crazy. The stuff that's going on is crazy, and I don't know, but I kind of love it too. I love it. So because I'm a crazy guy, right? But so Cameron says, would love to see you in southern Washington one day. Yeah. Oh man, I love Washington. And I'll kill it all the way into like Oregon. When in southern Oregon, it gets a little different. And but the Columbia River, I live right off the Columbia River. So that goes all the way down through Washington and into Oregon. Beautiful, wonderful terrain, and such a rich place. Oh man, for abundance in food sources, it blows my mind how crazy rich it is. So Mike H says it was getting dark. I was in a boat. Very unusual things to happen. Yeah, in a boat. That's cool too because boats are relatively safe places from predators unless you're worried about alligators or crocodiles. There's no crocodiles in North America. There shouldn't be. But anyways, um, Surprise Daily says Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Come here anytime. Are you kidding me? Like I hear about the Virginian Blue Mountains a lot. Yeah. Oh God, I would love to. Please. This is from Surprise Daily. Please send us bigfootencounter@gmail.com. Man, it's so irresponsible of me to not have discovering Bigfoot research centers in every state and every province right across North America. I was talking to a guy in Manitoba today who wants to do it. There's a dude in Oregon that wants to do it. Man, I want that stuff. And what's going to happen if I can get that ambitious, and because I am a full-time Sasquatch researcher and I got this movie to do and I got so much stuff going on. My life is just crazy right now. But I would love to have a Discovering Bigfoot Research Center in every, one particular research center in every state and every province in North America, in the United States and Canada, and then and just grow. But the problem is, oh man, people get angry and people get weird and do crazy stuff, and then it falls back on you. And I'm having trouble finding somebody that I could be a tracking mentor to. I just lost my fourth person in the last 10 years, and I try hard and I really want to teach. My teacher who passed away, my native tracking teacher, he went his whole life and never found anybody. And this guy was a tracker, revered medicine man, beloved by so many tens of thousands of people, admired and loved him. And he never, besides me, he never had a student. And I was only a student of his for a short period of time, maybe 7 years. And and he passed away, and most of what he knew was gone forever. And it's heartbreaking. And here I am, as famous as I am, and I have a hell of a time finding people to work with. But you just got to throw caution to the wind and just do it. Forget it. There's going to be problems. It's going to be crazy. Whatever. Life goes on. Stuff happens. You just got to keep building as best you can. So I'm tremendously attracted to that. So you guys know, if Virginia, hey, Blue Ridge Mountain Guide. Well, we had a guy from what was the earlier one? Like all these cool Texas. You want to start a Discovering Bigfoot Research Center in Texas, in Virginia, in Louisiana? Let's do it. You got some stuff going on. It doesn't matter how superficial. If you really believe that you're getting good Sasquatch stuff, I really want to help you. I really want you to take the tools that I have and use them for help. Because, man, oh my God, I just want this discovery done, guys. And if it can be somebody from Louisiana, if it could be you in Virginia, in the Blue Mountains of Virginia, please, right? Let's start talking. I'm really going to commit a lot of time to this, you guys. And, we have thousands of people watch this. I'm very committed to this. And I have people like Amanda and Phil and Danielle and even Cameron here. Like, man, we got to start doing stuff. And oh my God, we need to build and grow. And I've been I apologize so much. I've had such a horrible 2019, and I gotta get over my issues and stuff. But I'm working hard, guys, and I'm very motivated to do this stuff. So Andrew Tadaro, sorry, I'm terrible with names. Todd, can you tell us more info that you know about the Mount St. Helens eruption? Oh, I have, yeah, I'm gonna have to find that paperwork. I don't, it's years and years ago, and the story that I was told was so incredible, so incredible. Just off the top of my head, so you can't quote me on this because I haven't even touched that chronicle. I wouldn't even know where to look for it. It's just I've had my stuff broken in and stolen so many times. But I'll go off the top of my head. So the fires were burning, and these guys were, I don't know, they were doing something kind of illegal where they were hunting, and they were waiting for elk to come out, and then oh god, I don't remember it. So I'm so bad at it because it was really pretty amazing. Like shots were fired towards the Sasquatch, and gosh, I just can't remember it. There's paperwork everywhere, like just oceans of paperwork and paperwork. But yeah, it was a pretty impressive story, and I spoke to one of the eyewitnesses that was there. So and this is actually we're probably talking about something different because apparently there were Sasquatch bodies and stuff. I don't know anything about that. I just know about a story that was told to me by a very reputable man, and I got the sense he was telling the truth. So yeah, so there was some, but anyways, well, I'll look into that more. I probably shouldn't be talking about that because I just I can't stand saying things incorrectly. And now I got you guys probably all excited about this cool event that happened, and I'm just kind of drawing a blank. So Catherine, Maddie from Northeast, they're definitely here. So you're from the Northeast, so that is like Quebec, Ontario, or are you talking Northeast United States, like Michigan or Maine? Maine has got to be such a good spot for Sasquatch. There's so much good stuff out of there. So yeah, where are you talking about, Catherine? So Modern Explorer, this is going to happen. So Clay Cactus, there's Todd. The one was paralleling me, and he hid in the brush. I walked close to see if he would get up, but didn't. I didn't want to take a chance. I had my camera, not a gun. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, don't pull a gun for God's sake. You'll die. Well, I'll tell you. So if this really happened, Clay Cactus, Texas Smith. So it was paralleling you, and he hid in the bush. Okay, so it was all a test. You're dealing with masters of hiding. So the fact that he let you know that he was there, I've seen Sasquatch blast through the bush and not make a sound. It's scary how you're dealing with a being that is evolved and designed through nature, through the evolutionary process of biology to survive in perfect equilibrium. If you know he's there, it's because he's letting you know, right? Know that. So he's testing you, and so even so many things can happen in a test like that. So many things. The most important thing is if you're a tracker and you have good tracking skills. I'm a top-notch, amazing, incredible tracker. The Sasquatch have no trouble evading and losing me. But the fact that I am a very good tracker and they know it, and they have to turn it up to lose. Like if a Sasquatch goes and just is nonchalant walking around enjoying his home habitat, and I find his trackway, I can follow him, and that pisses them off. That really upsets them because they want to know that they're at home and nobody's going to follow them around, right? If a Sasquatch, like in Clay's instant, comes around and lets himself be known, he's going to hide his tracks eventually to make sure that there was no risk involved, right? So, but the test would be go find his tracks, go substantiate it, go look at his trackway, and then you know what I would tell you to do? Go find a piece of his trackway, follow it for a couple hundred yards, that's no big deal, and then make an X. Take 2 trees and make an X over the trackway. What that's saying is, I know you, I'm a tracker, I was following your trackway, but I'm not going to follow you home. That'll increase the comfort level of the Sasquatch. So, and just even Clay, how you reacted in that, like I tell expeditioners, don't twitch. Don't do that. Be calm. I know it's hard. If something comes charging at us, we have to be calm and rational. You can't be twitchy because that is, the Sasquatch aren't going to like you. If you're twitchy and nervous, they're going to stay the hell away from you. And for obvious reasons, they don't want to be around somebody like that. You're not trustworthy. You can snap. You know what I mean? When people freak out, that's a bad thing. When you show these guys, Hey, you're over there, and I'm calm, cool, and collected. You want to do amazing? Say hi. Talk nice. That's what they do with gorillas. Hi, I know you're there. Hi. That's what I do. And I know it sounds kind of gay, but gay is happy. So there's nothing wrong with talking and acting a little gay. And the Sasquatch will recognize that you were being nice. Hi. That's all we can really do. So, and talk to him and be nice and be calm. And, don't stare at him and maybe walk towards him. Just, do it though. Work it. Play it. Because don't think you snuck up on him. Don't think that Sasquatch, you had the upper hand on him, because you didn't. There's no chance of it. If somebody starts telling me that crap, I don't believe what they're saying. I won't believe you. Oh, I snuck up on this Sasquatch. Yeah, come on. Really? Like, what did you do? So I snuck up on a day watcher, not on a Sasquatch moving around. And I did it based on so much extensive knowledge and understanding and pre-work. It was planned. We had done years of preemptive planning, and I'd failed dozens of times until it finally worked out. I needed weather conditions. I needed everything, so many things to fall into place. It was just ridiculous. And the day happened, and so when I sit down with a real tracker and I tell them the one time I was totally successful, in my opinion, was the Jake footage, video 5. That was the best footage I ever got, and that was a planned total success. And it wouldn't have happened if the day watcher spot wasn't by a creek. I walked up a creek. I rock climbed up a creek. I had been planning to go up through a waterfall. I'd left a rope through a waterfall so I could get up the creek. Like, you have no freaking idea the stuff that I could write a book on what I did to get video 5 and the failures and the successes and all the luck that I had to do to get that shot. Every other video I have is something else was planned and something else happened. So, it's that's how crazy and hard it is. And if you talk to hunters and trackers, they'll tell you about, the fluky stuff, and, you need luck, and you need destiny, and you need things to go your way. And how can you calculate for what weather's going to be like in 5 days? How can you calculate whether it's going to have rained or be dry, and the terrain and the snow, and whether there was a herd of bighorn sheep there that particular day that screwed you up? And it's that many things. Oh, everything all fell into place, but there was a herd of bighorn sheep, and they picked me up, and they ran away, and they alerted the Sasquatch to me, right? One day I had a freaking chickadee squeak and alert the Sasquatch to my presence, little jerk. How the hell did I ever even know that was going to happen? So, but you need things to go right. You need things to go in your favor, and that's how hard it is. That's why there's not much good footage out there, if any at all, really. So, Mason White Sylvanic and SRG. Many people are believers of Sasquatch, but you become a knower once you've experienced the power of the Sasquatch presence and how in touch with nature and the environment they are. Yeah, and there is a big difference. I talk about that all the time, and that's something that that my PhD colleagues have taught me is don't ever call me a believer. I know they exist. So you can say whatever else you want. Call me crazy, but the earth is round, it's not flat. And if you don't just try, the Sasquatch are real. I don't know what else to have to say. Northwest Olympics 411. Grayling on the Yukon River, the natives told me about the hairy black people. They're very superstitious, but not lying. So, and that was on the Yukon River. Yeah, and I love talking to the natives and the Indigenous, how it's part of their oral history. And you know what? When that happens, you really got to listen to those people. Like, really listen and question them in a way that keeps the conversation moving forward. Ask them questions to keep them talking, because when I go to reserves and I talk with the natives, they've been talking about Sasquatch their whole lives. They've been dealing with Sasquatch their whole lives. Until you probe a little bit and get the deeper questions, and really, when they see that you're listening to them, they'll appreciate and respect that, and listen with a good open heart, right? Let them talk crazy if they're going to talk crazy. I mean, let them go off, and maybe there'll be some, I don't know, you'll get lots of, what will have to happen is Sasquatch have this legendary presence, right? So somebody that knows about Sasquatch will say, well, they're interdimensional travelers. and I just shut up and let them keep talking because I know they're not. I have no doubt they're not interdimensional travelers, but I understand why people say that. So I take a step back and I keep listening because there are different things that they will teach me and things that I can learn, not based on superstition, based on science and fact and truth. So, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are fourth dimensional travelers, but I say no to that. I say I don't like saying this, but I say 100% no. They're not fourth dimensional travelers. They're just exceptionally well evolved, incredibly intelligent, taught. You must understand that when young deer, young elk, when they get picked off and die, it's because usually they're doing stupid stuff. They make mistakes or they stick out, right? Obviously. But what happens with primates is they don't learn through experience, they're taught. There'll be communication and they'll be physically taught stuff. Elk and deer and moose, they can't teach their children the way primates can, the way we can through communication. There's a whole other level of exceptional in a real big hurry when you're intelligent and you can communicate. You must understand this. The most coveted species in North America to get the biggest trophy animal is the white-tailed bucks. Why do you want an old buck? Well, you can't eat them. They're all old, yucky meat. People don't eat that. Some people turn it into hamburger. It's the worst meat. So why are they killing them as trophies? Because they're the hardest ones to get, because they're the most seasoned veterans. They're highly intelligent, highly adept at, through experience. A white-tailed buck male does not teach a white-tailed buck young male these things. You know what I mean? He's on his own, and the buck will learn that, but it's through experience. And primates teach. You must understand what enormous advantage that is, to be able to teach the way we teach. Now, things will not get lost through, all our oral history, all the experiences will be passed on from one generation to the next because of the way primates can communicate so clearly and so precisely amongst each other, like the Sasquatch can do amongst themselves, that level of communication is going to create this. You are literally dealing with the evolution of their terrain and their ground and how to survive, and every crow and squirrel fart and wolverine scat will mean something to them. I can't even imagine the level that they're at. Like, my native teacher was at a level that just blew my mind. The stuff that he would do. He would sit down for lunch in a spot where there were no mosquitoes. We have mosquitoes and black flies. There's certain times of year they're bad, whatever. He would laugh. I go, let's eat here. He goes, no, there's bugs all over here. And then he'd pick a different spot, and then there was no bugs. And I go, what did you do? And he'd laugh at me. He goes, you'll figure it out. I haven't figured it out. I wish he would have told me. But there's 100 examples like that. Well, he does, and he did teach me stuff. I don't know why he was secretive about the few things here and there. But a Sasquatch wouldn't be like that. So, what's this guy saying? I'm sorry, there's no such thing. Telling me there's no such thing as Sasquatch? Well, thank you, Theolock 1981. Appreciate your opinion. I'm a wilderness expert. I know Sasquatch are real. And I've spent over 1,000 days in the backcountry. So when you can spend over 1,000 days in the backcountry and come and tell me there's no such thing, when you can go and meet the wilderness experts and the native experts that have been here for 20,000 years that all know Sasquatch are real, and some guy who's people have no experience, have no history in the wilderness here at all, and then you go tell them that, why, Sasquatch, you're crazy, they're not real. No, you know what? It's pretty arrogant. So I suggest you really check your mouth in and go look at what the experts have to say. Try to open your mind a little bit, because the Sasquatch are definitely real. Never stop, Todd. This is from Michael Hawthorne. I'll always support you in this hunt. Thanks so much, Michael. I really appreciate that support, and it means a lot to me. It really does. That's why I'm here, is because of you guys and your support right now. I'm a full-time Sasquatch researcher because of awesome support from you amazing people. So too much to type here, but had an experience all spring, summer, and fall, really? And a sighting of something end of October. That's bomber. So you got to really, bigfootencounter@gmail.com. This is from a guy who calls himself bomber at Martin. So yeah, we'd love to hear about that. And that's shocking to me because you had experiences all spring, summer, and fall. How? The Sasquatch moves so much. That's very curious to me. I don't get my experiences in the spring are virtually nothing. Summer they can come around a little bit, but I got to go to the right spots. And then fall is hot. It's the hottest time of season for me. Everything's fat. The elk are fat. The berries are all blossoming. There's the most abundance just at the end of summer, beginning of fall, then into fall even before the snow flies. We get a lot of berries and a lot of food sources. And again, like the salmon will start spawning. That's a huge food source. Uh, Literally, the elk and deer are fat. They have to be. If they're not fat in the fall, they're not going to survive the winter. They're dead meat. So in the spring, they're not fat. They just got through the winter. They're just trying to bulk up. In the summertime, they're bulking up, and they're at their absolute zenith in the fall. It's just it's Mardi Gras time for the wilderness. It's like Oktoberfest, really, before the snow flies. And I think that's a good time for the Sasquatch too, because they know the snow is coming. They're going to have to bed down. I'm very, very convinced that they're not doing much in the wintertime. They can't. Their feet would freeze, right? Being around in the snow too much. So they have the intelligence and the cognition to know it's going to be a long, boring winter. Better have some fun now, because it's not going to be fun for the next 4 or 5 months, right? So that's what I've noticed. But it doesn't mean that you're not getting spring and summer, fall stuff. I have no idea where you're doing this, and we'd love to hear about it. So soon I'm going to go to the Olympics near my house and bring some toys, my 2 game cams, and see what happens. Good cat. This Cappy McCappy. Always happy to hear from you. I wish you tremendous luck. I hope that works out really well. Seen many living trees bent in an arch shape here. Yeah, and that's not great evidence. It's good evidence. I'm still learning about the arches and stuff. So it's got to be pretty significant. It's got to be happening. And if I saw arches in conjunction with Sasquatch tracks and Sasquatch sightings, that'd jump it right up. And I haven't been seeing that very consistently. Tree breaks very consistent, but not the arches so much. But again, I've seen a couple. I've been convinced of at least 2 Sasquatch archways in all my experience. There have been 2 that have smoking gun. There are tree breaks around. There's Sasquatch tracks in the ground. There were Sasquatch there, and there's arches that were put up. Actually, the arches I saw that were just couldn't have been anything else. They were up in the trees, up high, like 20 feet in the ground, and these trees were arched into each other. So the arches were like 30 feet in the air. The bottom of the arches was 20 feet high. How the hell did that happen? And it's all around tracks and stuff, right? And most importantly, it was around smaller Sasquatch tracks. These small Sasquatch could climb up there and make those arches. So it's very interesting what they're capable of doing and the things they do with trees. Very, very interesting. There's so much to be learned. I am tremendously in my infancy in learning about the arches and the breaks and the structures and what they mean. So, but like Cameron says, the structures are so compelling. Oh my God. I mean, they're hella proof. Hella proof. There's a structure that we have in Nordegg, not the famous one that was the apples got taken off of and Jeff Meldrum found the tracks around. There's another one that is just like, it's such a smoking gun of, there's no way that could have been done by anything but a Sasquatch. And that structure has since been destroyed, but I've got the footage of it, and it's pretty amazing stuff. Okay, so tons of questions here. Whoa, easy there, Mr. Computer. Okay. So Amanda's information is completely controlled. Oof. I have a few tracks in the snow. Yeah, I've been seeing lots of tracks in the snow from D. Stewart, B. More Bigfoot. Jesus Saves Souls says information is completely controlled. Agreed. It's disgusting. I can't believe, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just like, it's so bad how it's so clear to me that my stuff is being hidden and the garbage that's going on. It's really disgusting and it breaks my heart to see that information is so controlled and manipulated like that. Hey, Crab Shack, you finally caught one of my live shows, and this is live. Clay Cassius, Texas. Ron, you didn't answer me. Hello, yeah, brother. Triumphant Street. So I'm just reading these things. Does it help having a hairy face when interacting with Sasquatch? No. one little bit. I can't see it being any little bit advantageous. Have a beard if you want a beard. Uh, there's no. I think they liked long blonde hair though. I heard that about gorillas and orangutans that tear a piece of blonde hair off, and they were doing that to me. I cut my hair just recently, and it broke my heart to do so, but I had to. So and long hair for trackers is really important. You can look that up and Google it. It really makes a big difference. So God, man, love to go with you and see a Bigfoot. Happy New Year. Yeah, and you know what? I'm doing expeditions this year. My expeditions are pretty much full, I guess. So, but I got a couple spots here and there. But anyways, if you're interested in doing an expedition, my website's discoveringbigfoot.org, and you can apply on the expedition page there. I'm just sort of it's more about me finding the right people that I'm gonna want to take out and they're gonna help, and yeah, so I'm really looking for good chemistry. I'm finding that the expeditioner matters a lot. I'm seeing people that are too tense, too high strung, and they're just not getting good. We're not getting good results with them, and so I'm going to be a little tougher on my expeditioners this year. But you know, I find the majority of people that are really attracted to doing this are really good, nice people, really good, nice people. So I've 90% of the people I take out are just such wonderful, good, nice people. So I don't know. Gina Bell, did you block me? I don't know. There are people that get blocked from my channel. Absolutely. You start swearing and start being angry and hatred, you're blocked from my channel. So if you swore at somebody, if you were angry at somebody, yes, I do block people. It's my channel. If you have something constructive to say, by all means. If you're going to start lying and being deceptive and swearing and angry at people, I have no tolerance for that. No tolerance. I don't swear at people. I'm not angry at people. I respect people's opinion. People come on here and tell me Sasquatch isn't real, and I respond to them. I'm not angry at them. I'm sympathetic towards them. I'm sorry that you can't see the truth. I'm sorry that you don't find the evidence at least somewhat compelling. I would appreciate it if you tried to keep an open mind. But if you just want to be sure that Sasquatch aren't real, then, I'll keep presenting you with evidence, and you can, take it as you will. So how can I be disrespectful to people that say Sasquatch aren't real? In 2001, I knew Sasquatch didn't exist. I was sure they couldn't exist. So that's where I was at. But I was ignorant. I was very, very ignorant. And I had a lot to learn. And little did I know, back with all the wilderness experience that I'd had in 2001, they were coming around me all the time. They were trying to make themselves known to me, and I was so blind to it. I was so ignorant about it. And that's the real problem, is I bet you there's hundreds of thousands of people that have had a Sasquatch encounter where the Sasquatch came around and tried to communicate with them, and they just kept doing like I used to do and go, that's strange that squirrel threw a rock. Squirrels don't throw rocks. That was very strange the way that tree snapped at me. Okay, if it's a big tree snap, nothing does that, And the behaviors and the sounds, it's pretty impressive. So somebody's saying Arsh. So Amanda tells me Arsh Gamesh. Wow, that's so cool. I hope he was okay. What's going on with Arsh Gamesh here? Who's that? I'm going to go up here and look for that. Arsh Gamesh. I saw a Native American old man, and he said he had seen a Bigfoot. I showed him your footage of blinking Sasquatch, and he said it was exactly... Sorry, I can't see the bottom here. Scrolling up. He said it was exactly the same. He was about to cry and couldn't control. I get that so much. And I understand. I really understand how, oh my God, when you're ridiculed, when people mock you, you have a traumatic experience, and it's like, I don't know what you have some terribly, you're in an accident, a traumatic accident, and people don't believe you. It must be frustrating. It's got to be frustrating. And that's why a lot of people break down. I see it, I was at the strongest one I ever saw was when I was in at a Washington Sasquatch, the Sasquatch Summit. And this woman just came into the summit, didn't know people at all. She just heard about the Sasquatch Summit, came out there, and she came over, And I think it was John had a picture, one of my Sasquatch pictures, and she started crying. She goes, "That's what I saw. That's exactly what I saw. Is this your picture?" And then John goes, "No, that's Mr. Standing's picture." And she came over to me and she was just crying, and I couldn't believe it. She goes, "You know they're real?" I go, "Yeah, absolutely." She goes, "I can't believe it." She gave me a hug and she was all crying. She's like, "People call me a liar, and this is what I'm seeing, and this is how it is." So, she doesn't. This is a woman who like didn't have running water or a phone at her house, just lived in the woods, right? They own their property, but they're just like really off the grid people, which is cool. They weren't like strange hillbillies. She was a nice lady, seemed very smart. But people just she asked for a picture, and so we gave her a photocopy, and she took it home to show her parents and tell her family like this is the Sasquatch she's been seeing, and so I love stuff like that. I love helping because they're real. For me, it's about the truth, and if I can bring the truth out to you, then that makes me super happy. So, what about the tridents? The tridents? I don't know anything about. Mike H says, "What about the tridents?" I don't know anything about tridents. I know what a trident is. I don't have any real knowledge of that. Maybe we're talking about something different. God, man, love to go with you and see a Bigfoot. Happy New Year, Todd. I've read that already. Lavender, what other systems do Bigfoot use? What other systems do Bigfoot use? And still learning more from you. What other systems? They move as a cooperation. I think there's at least always three of them around. They like high ground. Um, they're extremely cautious. You know what? I'll notice they'll do is they'll come around 200 yards first day and leave. Second day, come around 100 yards and then leave. Third day, 50, 30 yards. This happened on Survivor Man. The first day out there, it was 150, 200 yards. 2 layers, 3 layers of trees back at night. The next day they come around was what happened on Survivor Man, where they're close. They were so close. And then the third day, Survivor Man left. I put him way out in the bush. He wanted to be alone, so I dropped him way the hell out in the middle of nowhere. I would never leave anybody like that, but Survivor Man. So we put him way the hell out in the middle of nowhere. I came back to base camp. They were literally standing right at the trees, right there. I couldn't believe it. Terrified the hell out of me. He's got that. I didn't film any. I didn't get any footage of them because I was really terrified. And it really wasn't about me filming them.